Red Bull Army, this graph over here proves that McLaren has been cheating with their tower cooling system. Simply put, it's impossible for a team to have that big of a delta between their qualifying performance and their race performance. It hasn't happened a single time in the past 10 years of Formula One. Let me break this down for you. All right, so let's start with this graph. This charts the margin of difference between the winning car and the car in second place, and it breaks it down based upon whether you got pole or whether you came in second, third, fourth, or place. I did it based off of times just so it's easier, right? As you see here, McLaren is not that big of an outlier. However, as you see, most of the times that you have these giant margins between the winning car and the car in second place, the car that won got on pole. So let's eliminate those. Here you go, and you can see that McLaren is now much more of an outlier, right? But you still have a lot of these examples. So these in black is Mercedes, in red these are Red Bull. I'll explain why they're in red in a second, but you see it's not that big of an outlier. However, when you look at the numbers a little bit more, you see that all of these races in black, except for this one, but I'll get to that in a second, what happened was a team swap, right? So basically, Nico Rosberg got pole, Hamilton came in second, and then Hamilton ended up winning, Nico Rosberg came in second, but their difference was still a huge margin between them and the car in third place. So it doesn't say anything about the car that the person didn't qualify on pole, because the car still qualified on pole. So let's get rid of these situations where the car still got on pole. Here's what it looks like, and as you can see, there are only 4 results where the team, the car had a 40-second gap to the other teams. However, that's not the only thing that made this performance crazy. What made this performance really crazy was the fact that Lando Norris came in second. It wasn't just that Oscar Piastri came in first, but the Lando Norris came in second, right? That this was a 1-2 finish by McLaren that was not a team swap, right? And they had this huge margin. So let's get rid of that. And then also, if you look at these 2 red dots, I just said that I was explaining it. Basically, in these 2 situations, what happened was Charles Leclerc qualified pole, Max Verstappen and Perez qualified second and third, and then Charles Leclerc's engine just blew out. And so he didn't finish the race. So that's the reason why those teams had this large delta between everyone else, because the team that got in pole didn't end up finishing the race, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate both of those factors. And now we're back to this graph. So this is a graph of the times that a team that did not start on pole, right over here, right, ended up winning a 1-2 of the race, while the person who qualified in pole still ended up finishing, right? In 10 years, this has only happened 7 times, right? It's an outlier event, right? This happens when you have an incredibly dominant car, which you can make the argument that McLaren's car is incredibly dominant. But if you look at here, I put this dot in red because there's no way to really account for this, but basically what happened in this race, this was the US race last year, where basically Max Verstappen was acting as a third teammate for Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz and trying to slow down Lando Norris as much as possible, right? So the only time, so if you look at this, if you take this away, these are 5 of the most historically dominant finishes ever, right? These are outliers. These are some of the biggest outliers of the past 10 years, outlier performance of the past 10 years. The McLaren car's performance is twice as impressive as all of the greatest comeback performances of all time, right? And this one only came close because the team that came in the car that came in second was proactively trying to be as slow as possible to stop the car in third from winning the race, right? That's the only reason why that happened, right? So the point here basically is that when you have a car that is that good, right? For example, this is the Mercedes, right? So during the 7 years of Mercedes dominance, right, they have only had this happen 3 times, and the margin was 10 seconds or less. Because when you're not finishing on pole, your team is not that good at that racetrack. It is not going to have that same success over the course of the rest of the race, right? And you saw it happen twice at Red Bull. And again, you see it one time when the third place team is proactively trying to slow down the other team as possible, right? So you have to have weird stuff happen for this dynamic to take place. Now, people can argue that the McLaren car is just such an insane rocket ship. Yeah, it's better than the 2023 Red Bull. Yes, it's better than the 2014, 2019 Mercedes. Okay, fine. You want to make that argument? Sure. Here's another graph. This is a graph of the same thing, when you did not qualify first, a 1-2 finish of your car, where the pole, where the driver that started in pole finished the race, right? And no other team got pole position 50% or more that season. As you can see, this is the only time that's ever happened. The point of this is this: either they have figured out some insane tire cooling system that is legal, which is really hard to believe because everyone's kind of working off the same rule book, and like you don't really see that large deltas in terms of team performance, or they're doing something illegal and they're breaking the rules. Either way, please share this. Let's comment and tag Red Bull in it so that they see it, and then we can spread the word on this.